So you're in that current state of constant anticipation that
Eh?
sucks ass.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're waiting on your book to come out. You
Yeah.
don't know when it's coming out. You haven't heard anything. You're just like, fuck. And then one day you're just going to wake up and it'll be out and be like, oh, okay.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to order a whole bunch of copies now.
Yay. But that I hate that is like the waiting.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing they'll tell you about being a writer when you get into it is how much waiting you have to do. It's like, hey, do you have a book coming out? Yeah, it's done, it's ready. It could come out any day, except for the publisher's going to put it out in 2 years.
Well, I'm going to say that's like the thing about publication is just like everything, like as a writer, like it's a lot of down the road.
Down the fucking road. I hate the down the road. I just want it to be next week.
Because like we get it a lot, like in comics, like I listen to a lot of podcasts where comic creators are getting like interviewed and stuff, and there's like some writers that's like, yeah, I'm working on stuff now that probably not going to be coming out until like the end of next year.
Yeah, and that has to be really tough if you're a trend writer. So it's like, oh, I wrote a zombie book. Zombies are fucking hot, and then 2 years when the book finally comes out, the publisher decides to publish it. Zombies, nobody gives a shit about it.
Well, we've talked about that before, like the perils of trying to catch a wave and stuff like that.
I feel like a lot of writers that become successful in genre fiction, they happen to write something that becomes popular during or after their publication. So it's like, oh, I wrote a zombie book, and then zombies aren't very popular, but it's a good book. And then when it comes out, you just happen to catch the Walking Dead wave. And you're like, fucking right.
Yeah.
Like that's got to be awesome. But then more times than not, I would say you get the opposite.
I would say, as a genre writer, you should probably try to have like I'm gonna have a werewolf, like I'm gonna write a werewolf story. I'm gonna write a zombie story or a monster story. It might be a while until I find a place to publish them and coming out. But like you have, like with my Good Iron Gates of Hell story, I just happened to write a fucking horror story that took place that had like football elements in it. And then we just happened to find a fucking
football
horror anthology. Like, who would have fucking ever thought of it?
Specifically tailored to football.
Yeah, so that, sometimes you luck out with that.
Yeah, that's one of those things where you just have to keep your eye on submissions and stuff. And that's short stories, but novels are trickier. That's when the agent helps.
Right.
You have an agent that can kind of steer you in the right direction. Normally, it'd be like, oh, here's an idea for my next book. Do you think this would be profitable? And they'd be like, yes or no. Trends are saying that. Because a lot of times it's speculated trends. So it's like, next year we're thinking that mermaid fiction was going to be real popular. We don't know, but Disney's releasing The Little Mermaid and blah, blah, blah. And sometimes those trends come to fruition. Sometimes something in the zeitgeist completely diverts it.
That, or like you said, like you just use that example, like, and then the movie fucking sucks and nobody wants anything to do with mermaids. And you wrote this fucking Tomb of a Mermaid, novel.
Yeah, exactly. Well, for instance, let's say you wrote a cool, like, Southern vampire story or something last year. Nobody would probably really give too much of a shit outside of people that like vampire stories. But then that Sinners movie just came out and did so well. And I don't think anybody expected that it was going to be such a good movie. I haven't seen it yet, but apparently it's a really good movie.
Yeah, I think it got like extended a little bit or something.
So I don't think anybody expected that movie was going to blow up the way it did. And now you're going to see a lot of fiction set in universes that the movie's kind of set in. So if you had written a story like that last year or a novel, you might catch the wave.
Yeah.
But that's one of those things where it's like, well, I think, because there was a werewolf movie that was supposed to come out, I think January, February. So I don't think it was very good. There might have been a couple werewolf movies, but I think there was one of just the werewolf, like the classic werewolf or something. So if you wrote a story thinking, oh, that's coming out next year or 2 years later, whatever, whenever you find out that movie's coming out, like I'm going to write a novel on that, that subject. And then because that movie comes out, I think it's going to blow up, and then the movie's a dud. And now nobody gives a fuck about werewolves, and you're like, God damn it, it's the vampires again. So that's tricky. That's the thing with genre fiction is you're always playing to what you think is going to be successful, but you don't know if that's going to come out.
Well, another tricky thing, say, like, oh, this werewolf movie's come out. I'm going to write this werewolf novel. And then the movie comes out and you're like, that's pretty similar to my novel.
That's another thing that fucking sucks ass is like you never know if something super popular is going to come out that's similar to what you wrote. And, you have no idea because, ideas aren't as original as we'd like to think anymore. There's not many ideas you could come up with that are wholly original. That is one aspect of literary fiction that does work. whether you like writing it or reading it or not, is that you can write a literary novel, and generally, unless it's one of those ones that deals with current themes, usually it'll stand the test of time better than genre fiction. I mean, you look at old sci-fi novels, and you laugh at them a lot. Now I was like, oh, that's goofy.
Yeah, you have to be like, you have to go and read and like, the science is not going to make any sense, most likely. It's going to be very wonky or like, you know.
There was a lot of hope, and there was just, nothing. But if you look at literary fiction, a story about war from the early 1900s and a story about war now, we're going to have similar themes, and, it generally holds up. But again, how boring. How boring can it be? It could be very boring. Anyway, we have an episode for you today that you folks will really dig. Spencer will dig it. He doesn't know what it's about yet.
I have no idea.
But I think he'll like it. I didn't do any research on this, and the article that I found appears to be quite shitty.
Oh, yeah.
Not the article, but the website, because I kept getting hijacked by ads.
More Haagen-Dazs?
Yeah, but the fans apparently love when I get very upset that the article I'm trying to talk about keeps getting hijacked by Haagen-Dazs and taco ads and fucking Michelob Ultra and all kinds of dumb shit. So that might be enjoyable. This will probably be a DBS episode because we haven't had one in a few weeks.
Yeah, we actually been doing quality episodes, I think.
Yeah. I didn't release the Confederacy at Dunce's yet.
No.
Right? That's this week. I have to edit that this weekend. Then I'm going on vacation. So that one, I don't know if we did a good job on that or not. But
I mean, I think we did.
Oh, I got to tell you a cool name for a character.
Okay.
Off air.
Yes.
So anyway, we will check you in a moment. You are listening to the Drunken Pen Writing Podcast. I'm your host, Caleb James. With me, as always, Spencer, the Gatlinburg Grandma Groper Church.
Aw.
I just picked Gatlinburg because that's where I'm going for vacation, going to Smoky Mountains.
Though, with the way things are going, there's like grandmas like in their 40s, late 50s.
30s sometimes.
Yeah, something. Yeah, so.
Figure that one out. Yuck. So, I know you're dying to know what this episode's about, Spencer.
Yeah, I'm a little curious.
Uh-oh.
I just deleted it.
Screen Crush wants to send me a notification. I'm going to block that. This is brought to you by Spencer's friends at Screen Crush.
Oh.
Now, this came out in 2023 by one Matt Singer.
Okay.
So he's responsible for this article.
All right.
The worst Marvel comics ever.
Oh, doozy.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I know you love lists about comics.
Yeah.
I'm not going to read this long introduction because I don't care. Do you care? You don't care. It's
No.
self-explanatory.
It's comic. Now I wonder if these are like comics that are like just like flat bad or like ones that he doesn't personally find.
I don't care. I just want your agreement or disagreement.
Okay.
And I think this actually goes in alphabetical order.
Okay.
So not listed.
That's a weird choice.
Well, it's hard to say this is the worst ever because it could be very subjective.
Yeah.
Because what you would pick and what I would pick would probably be vastly different. So the worst comics ever. The first one on this list, Avengers: The Crossing.
I've never read it. Not a big Avengers guy.
While it might be hard to believe now that the Avengers is one of the biggest brands in all pop culture, blah, 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 things are so dire for Earth's mightiest heroes in the 1990s that Marvel desperately tried to they tried to shake them up.
Well, the Avengers for a long time were not like, they were supposed to be like the ATO team, but like most of the time it was full of characters that couldn't support their own book.
Yeah.
And so you just put them together.
Well, in this iteration of the Avengers, apparently we had one Death Cry.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
They turned the Wasp in... Shaking it off, buddy. They turned the Wasp into a bug lady rather than a normal woman who shrinks.
Oh, okay.
So she's a bug.
All right. Turned into a wasp, probably.
I would think. What's her stingers coming out of? Her fanny. Worst of all, the story revealed Iron Man had been a sleeper agent for Kang.
No.
Yeah, for Kang.
He's a time traveler.
And then Tony Stark died. Spoiler.
Again.
Older Tony Stark.
Maybe that's when because there for a while they had like a kid Tony's, like he was like literally like a teenager.
Yeah.
So maybe that led into that.
I don't know. Who gives a fuck? Next up, Fantastic Force.
Okay.
Not only was Fantastic Force a bad comic, it has a weird origin. In the early 90s, the original Fantastic Four series saw its sales dip. They dipped. They went right below the line of making a profit, I guess. And the editors in charge tried to boost its popularity with a series of attention-grabbing events, including the shocking death of Mr. Fantastic. It's comics. He got better.
Yeah.
Obviously. The constant upheavals led to a rumor that Marvel was planning to cancel the Fantastic Four comic and replace it with a series called Fantastic Force. This is when they had like the X-Force spinoff of X-Men, and they just love putting Force at the end of things.
Right, yeah.
So why was this bad, Spencer? You didn't read this one either?
Yeah, no.
Despite appearances from the original Fantastic Four and Black Panther, the comic never took off, but then why would it? People were intrigued by a book that would replace Fantastic Four, but that series, okay, it apparently just sucked.
He's not going to say who they got replaced with?
The Fantastic Force.
But like who's in the Fantastic Force?
But instead of a replacement, that's a good question. Doesn't show. It has pictures, so I can't zoom in. A big red guy with a lion's mane.
All right.
A robot-looking fella that looks like Mega Man, but with blonde hair.
Yeah, that sounds terrible. I don't know any of these guys.
A Wonder Woman-esque looking lady.
Okay.
And a token black guy in gold armor.
Who
looks kind of like a Hercules, but gayer.
Okay. Yeah, that does sound
never
terrible.
Heard or seen
a
single one of those characters. This one you might be aware of, Spencer. The next up on this list, The Amazing Spider-Man, The Kindred Saga.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's very
recent.
That's very recent.
This is from Nick Spencer.
Yeah, that's a few years ago.
Making Spencers have bad names all over the place, huh?
But I did like seeing it because like they always do the last name on the cover, so it was kind of cool seeing just like Spencer.
I'm related to this hunk of shit. No. A recent run on the Amazing Spider-Man by writer Nick Spencer hinged on the machinations of a mysterious new villain named Kindred. Sounds fucking.
He was like a centipede man.
Does he give everybody hugs?
No.
Who harbored an intense grudge against Spidey and possessed seemingly limitless powers. So he just do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
At one point, he actually killed Peter Parker and brought him back to life multiple times as part of his elaborate but hard to understand plan for revenge. So just like the writers wanted to torture Spider-Man.
Yeah.
More specifically, Peter Parker. The series teased Kindred's true identity for months, but when it was finally revealed, the explanation was baffling. Kindred was initially revealed as Harry Osborn, Peter's best friend. But then Kindred turns out to really be Gabriel and Sarah Stacy. Both?
Yeah.
Both of them?
Yeah.
In like one of those fucking horsey outfits where one's the top and one's the butt? Is that what it is? They're just a centipede man?
I'm assuming if I remember correctly, I think they took turns. And like and just those two characters, they're weird because they're like twin or like because they did it. Okay, so they did a storyline where before Gwen Stacy died, she went over,
fucked Harry Osborn.
Yeah, no, Norman Osborn.
That's worse.
Yes,
that's worse.
And those are supposed to be the kids, but they were clones. But yeah, it's very Spider-Man.
So not good.
No.
Are you still reading that?
No, like I said, that was from a few years ago.
They wrapped up.
Yeah, they wrapped up. Which sucks because like Nick Spencer run, like he had some good stuff in there, and like he was actually bringing like Mary Jane and Peter together to be having a relationship again, and then they put the axe on that, and then yeah, the ending with the whole Kindred stuff was just very weird.
Oh, that sucks. Next up, sounds awful. Marvel. So not Marvel, Marvel. It's got a bodacious woman with Spider-Man eyes for boobs swinging.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Actually, that could be Mary Jane.
It might be.
Because she got Spider-Man legs, too.
Yeah.
The clothes. It's hard to explain verbally. So her legs are the Spider-Man legs, like the outfit, just the leg part. And then she's pretty much naked, and her boobs, her bra is Spider-Man's eyes.
Yeah.
Just the whites of the eyes. Marvel. If you don't know Bill Jemas, you must not have been reading Marvel Comics in the early 2000s. I was not. Jemas became the company's executive vice president and was an outside... I don't give a shit. What's the story about?
Has nothing to do with the comic. Unless he just likes seeing spider boobs.
Among his stranger attempts to grab attention for the company was a stunt called You Decide, where the company published 3 different books. A new Captain Marvel, a series called Ultimate Adventures, and a third book written by Jemas himself called Marvel.
They all sound terrible.
And let sales numbers determine which would continue indefinitely. So whatever did the best out of them.
None of them.
Or if any of them just did good, maybe. What if they all did great? Would he just continue them all?
I'd imagine if they're making money.
Apparently, his Marvel was an almost unreadable mess. A blend of satire, industry in-jokes, and shameless cheesecake.
Oh.
So when you got cheesecake involved, it's gonna suck.
Mm-hmm.
It lasted only 6 infamous issues, including one with this mind-boggling cover. Maximum clonage, and it's just a lot of Spider-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Just copy-paste Spider-Man all over the cover. Which brings us to our next one, Maximum Clonage.
Oh.
That's the next one. The Clone Saga. Were you a fan of the 90s Clone Saga?
I read some of it, but it's so fucking convoluted and goes through so many titles. It was only supposed to last like a half a year or a year, and then it span out to like 3 or something.
Apparently, that's what the problem is. The Clone Saga actually was a good story, but then after it ended, or was supposed to end, it sold so well that they said continue it.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you continue something that's supposed to be done, you're going to go into one of those weird TV show things where it's like, well, it's supposed to be 6 seasons, and now we're on 10.
Yeah.
We're just making shit up.
Yeah, it's been one of those things where I've been like tempted because like now I've seen like collections where it will have like the chunks of them in like an order just to experience it, you know?
Yeah. We have our first bit of contention. I disagree with this wholeheartedly. This next selection. NFL Super Pro, Captain America. Oh, yes, NFL Super Pro, the only Marvel superhero based on a sports league. The character wore a ridiculous costume that looked like a football uniform on steroids and fought crime alongside Spider-Man and Captain America. The villains featured in the series included Quick Kick, a former field goal kicker. That's the one you make superheroes the kicker. That's so gay. It's so stupid.
Hey, stand 40 yards away from me so I can kick this ball at you.
Maybe the ball exploded. That was a villain. So yeah, Quick Kick, a former field goal kicker who became a ninja, an instant replay who could time travel.
Yeah, because like the most unathletic guy on the entire football team is going to become a ninja. Like if you can become a ninja, just be a kicker. Be a good kicker.
Be a good kicker. This might surprise you, but NFL Super Pro is widely regarded as one of the worst things Marvel has ever published. Next up, is this a bit of controversy? I always hear this. I never read it. Secret Wars 2.
Oh.
Who is the Beyonder? That's what it says on the cover.
Yeah. From whatever I've heard, yeah, it's just more of like the cash grabby kind of, because like the first one kind of did all right, because this is the old one from like the 80s, right? I think. I've never read that one, but I think it's just like, oh, well, Secret Wars did good, so let's do Secret Wars 2. It's kind of like the very like beginning of like the big event things in comics.
Apparently, the one of the highlights of this book is the fact that Spider-Man taught the Beyonder how to use a toilet. So that tells you where that story's at. Next up, Ultimatum.
Oh,
sorry, I'm getting hijacked by ads now. Nike Dunks. So something slightly different. Nike Dunks. Yeah. Ooh, the Dunk Low Retro, built for your comfort.
I'm sure.
I never was a big fan of for basketball the low tops. I always feel like I'm gonna roll an ankle.
Yeah, no, I
like mid tops, not high tops specifically, but high tops are alright, but I like mid top.
Yeah, I definitely always wanted some ankle support, especially considering how like. Because I knew my contribution would be getting rebounds and stuff like that.
On a lot of feet and shit.
So yeah, I always wanted to have some ankle support.
The Ultimatum universe was Marvel's attempt in the early 2000s to bring in new readers by launching modern versions of their most popular cases. So one of them deals. Do those ever work, really?
Well, no, the Ultimate Universe was good for years. That Ultimatum, that was towards the end of it. And yeah, it was just a clusterfuck. Like they had, if I remember correctly, that might be the series where they had the Blob eat the Wasp. Yeah.
Did she like sting his guts?
No, because she like ate him when she was like normal size.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah.
Next up, US1. This was an early 80s comic. Marvel readers cried out in one voice and demanded a series about a hard-driving superhero trucker.
Oh, yeah.
80s was all about truckers. You know, you think of Over the Top, trucker. That's probably the only thing I can think of. I know that trucking fashion was in vogue back then for some reason. Marvel
people sure like the hats.
Yeah. And Marvel responded with US1, a baffling series based on a line of toy trucks featuring the adventures of Ulysses Solomon Archer. USA, that's his initials. Get it? Get it? You get it? You get it?
Clever.
Even weirder, US1 featured rare artwork from reclusive Spider-Man and Doctor Strange co-creator Steve Ditko.
Oh, wow.
During his return to Marvel in 1980. So it's just like, hey, you're a legend. Let's do trucking. Let's do truck stuff.
For those that don't know, Steve Ditko is a bit of an eccentric. Like he's a very strange fellow. It's interesting to look him up when you have some free time.
Yeah, do what he said, everybody. Do what he said. Do what Spencer said. Spencer said it, so do it.
No, if only.
Yeah. The art at least looks good on
Oh,
that.
yeah. I mean, yeah, he's a great artist.
Yeah. I'm trying to read. It's hard to read this because I can't zoom in on the pictures. High adventure trucking down the highway. That's on the cover. Fucking read it. It's probably great. It's not great. Next up, I wish this one had a picture, but it does not. It seems we're out of pictures.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
They're so shitty that they don't even deserve.
Well, it has a spot for a picture. It just didn't load. Probably because they needed more ads.
Yeah.
Speaking of ads, if you want to get some nice cheap gear, go to Family Dollar.
No.
Tariffs have not hit the Family Dollar yet. 2 days left for this big sale, by the way. So when this episode comes out, you missed the sale.
Yeah, you suck.
And by sale, I mean everything at the dollar store prices. So maybe tariffs are coming in. Oh, shit. Oh, man. I hit the read more and just infinite Dollar General ad.
Wow.
30 pages of Dollar General. Next up, I wish this had a picture because it is WCW World Championship Wrestling.
Oh, yeah.
Professional wrestling's colorful baby faces and heels and soap operatic storylines make it a close cultural cousin to comic books. It does.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes some sense that various publishers have tried. There's actually been a lot of wrestling comics.
Right.
There's an Undertaker comic I've seen. Look kind of cool.
Did you ever see the Ultimate Warrior comic?
See it or read it?
Either one.
I have it.
Oh, yeah?
I think I actually do have it somewhere. Yeah. Got it one of those things for like $1.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure the person just didn't give it to you. He's just like, I don't want this anymore. Take it.
I think he took that very seriously, by the way.
Oh, he did. Yeah.
Oh, is that it? What one man learned reading all 27,000 Marvel comics. I guess that's a new article it just started.
Oh.
You should not try to read them all in order. Agree or disagree?
Well, it'd probably be a lot difficult to try to read it all in order.
Yeah. I'm not going to read these. I'll just read the headlines because apparently that article ended.
It's just done.
It's just done. 2, reading digitally is a different experience than the original comics. No fucking way.
Yeah, woo.
No.
Hot take.
That is a hot fucking take. If you read it digitally, it is not going to be the same as holding in your hand paper.
Did you know that taking a piss feels different than taking a shit?
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out. That's crazy.
Right?
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. Number 3, some Marvel comics are hard to find and a couple are lost forever.
Oh, what?
My goodness.
No way.
I couldn't even believe that if it hit me in the head with a dildo. I don't know what that means.
You just calling back to past experiences.
Number 4, Family Dollar saved $1 on Dr. Pepper products.
Ooh.
It's multiple Dr. Pepper products. I do find it egregious that there are so many flavors of Dr. Pepper now. It's already 23 flavors.
Yeah, like that's what like Dr. Pepper, cherry Dr. Pepper, like
vanilla.
Cherry and vanilla's not in there already. Like,
is that to like add to the already porta potty flavor that it is?
Well, I'm sure probably now you could probably go online and find it. But have they ever like publicly been like, these are the 23 flavors that are in Dr. Pepper?
I don't
or is it
think
all
so.
supposed to just be a fucking guessing game?
I think it's a guessing game. Soda Pops also are like the comics. They just keep reinventing shit and just keep bringing shit out that nobody likes.
New Coke, old Coke.
Oreos are
Yeah.
the same. Reese's, that's the new one we've been, because I keep buying all these Reese's for you to try, and I'm just like, none of them need to be made.
No, like you fucking hit gold with just a normal Reese's. There's nothing that's the best thing that there could be. There's no neat reason to add anything else onto it.
You could mess around with the proportions if you want. I want this one more peanut butter. I want more chocolate. Okay, I can understand that. But once you start adding, like the one that gets me is the hard bits. I think the one that really offended me, even though we talked about off air, I'll eat anything. I don't care. But there was ones that had sprinkles in it, not like M&M, because there's the Reese PC ones and stuff.
Right.
But no, there's just hard sprinkles that like broke your teeth but had no flavor. Like they didn't add any flavor to it.
Yeah.
It's like, why is this in here? Just like, hey, you want bits of sand and glass in your Reese? Here's here's the new beach Reese's. Perfect for summertime. You bite into a Reese filled with old sand.
Do you ever wonder what glass tastes like with chocolate and peanut butter?
Try Reese Shreds.
It'll cut your mouth and your intestines.
Made for the extreme. Are you an industrious fella? Try the new Reese's Asbestos. All right, number 4. Romance comics had an enormous influence on the Marvel Universe.
I mean, maybe in the beginning.
They all have romance plot lines, I guess. I don't know. Who gives a fuck? Number 5. No comic, no matter how silly, is completely worthless.
I mean, they just had a list.
We did have a list.
That were pretty fucking worthless.
And then, this guy brings up NFL Super Pro. I don't care about that. 6. You can learn a lot about our history by reading comics. Okay. And that list also ended. Why did that list morph into another list of something completely different?
List upon list upon list.
Dog's farting back here.
You like it.
I don't.
How tasty is it? It hasn't made its way over here yet.
It's quite sour. It's quite pungent. It assaults my senses. All of them. I can feel it.
This is like being pepper sprayed.
I could see it. every sense. So, there's a zoomed in picture of that Marvel Spider-Man. She's actually, her skin, her nude flesh is also Spider-Man. It's got lines.
Oh, that's weird.
So peach webbing. And I didn't realize she also had the Spider-Man art. Just wear the Spider-Man suit. Like, why? Why is your torso naked? Fucking. Here's a trend, the Rob Liefeld trend of the 90s I did not like, is the fucking, that look. See the dude with the blonde hair right there? Like the endless pouches and fucking weird accessories and the, like, you have a
terrible autonomy or body shapes and stuff like that.
You have some kind of Gambit style mask, but the face and the hair is uncovered. So what is the point of it? What does it do?
It looks cool.
I guess.
Or like big guns that don't look like guns and they shoot lasers and no ankles or feet.
I don't like any of it.
Honestly, next time we're at book club, you have to ask Tim about his bad experience with Rob Liefeld.
Did he meet Rob Liefeld?
Yeah, it was like at an in an elevator, like at a con or something, and I guess he just was not very nice to Tim.
Oh, that's Rob Liefeld. I feel like is a kind of a weird dick.
Yeah,
like he seems like he might be a little autistic or something.
Oh, definitely. Well, whenever I met him for a few minutes when I got my first appearance of Deadpool signed, he was cool and shook my hand. I was like, oh, that's cool, and did his thing. But yeah, he can be very. Like I said, like you said, like autistic could probably have something to play with that.
Yeah. So we're only 28 minutes in. Should we just end it or not? I don't know. Whatever you want to do, Spencer. Whatever you want to do.
I mean, I feel like we could probably filibuster a little bit to try to get.
No, that's not the use of filibuster right now. We're not filibustering anything.
Come on, I want to act like I'm in front of Congress.
So I ask you a bunch of questions and you never say yes or no.
Yeah, just until we get to half an hour.
Fuck. I've been watching the new season of Black Mirror.
Oh yeah.
Some of them quite depressing.
Well, I mean, aren't all of them kind of depressing?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've only watched maybe up to like season 2, I think, 2 or 3, and they were good, but they were never like I never felt good at the end of them.
No. It's like the Twilight Zone, but never any message of hope.
No. Well, I mean, Twilight Zone didn't really have messages of hope either.
Sometimes, maybe? I don't know. Maybe that's what I should read. Aren't there Twilight Zone books?
I would imagine there would have to be, or like collections of short stories or something.
Yeah. We'll end it on some reading talk. How about that?
Okay.
So this past week, I read Soseki Natsume's The Gate.
Mm-hmm.
I started that actually during the previous week when we had no power.
Yeah.
I mentioned it on air. Very good. I really enjoyed that. It's a very peaceful book, so I needed that.
Yeah.
Then I followed that up with a not so peaceful book I read in about a day and a half, and that is In the Miso Soup by Ryu Murakami. One guy gets his face burned off with a lighter.
Just like a regular Bic lighter?
Yeah, something like that. It's it got some gore. I gave it a 3 out of 5. It was all right, but it wasn't. It's weird. Like I think I texted you. You'd appreciate it more than I did because a lot of it is just like the philosophy of Japanese culture, explained in a way dumb Americans can understand because it's being explained to an American. And I found that insightful, but I already know that stuff.
Yeah, you're more familiar with that stuff.
Yeah, but you would probably really like it. It's only it
didn't look that big.
Nah, I don't even think it's 200 pages. So I read that. I forget the name. It was that Western graphic novel.
Oh yeah.
Which turned out to be a lot longer than I anticipated. Something Gang Massacre, Enfield Gang Massacre. It was okay. I think honestly, I'm not as much as I want to be. I don't think I'm a Western guy. Like I used to like the Clint Eastwood Western movies and stuff, but I don't think I am a fan. I don't know why. Like I like all the stuff involved in the Westerns.
Right.
You know, the revenge, the lawman, the outlaw, the small weird towns. But I think what I liked about the Clint Eastwood ones is it was like he didn't say much. He was the man with no name. There was a lot of shooting, but it was like ghost towns and just creepy shit kind of. They all had a little bit of a creepy vibe. But I never liked the John Wayne Westerns, like the go get 'em cowboy.
Yeah.
That's the shit I don't like. That Enfield Gang Massacre, it was more not splatter Western. It was more geared though towards that. So I did appreciate that, but it also still had a hint. For me, it was the language. It was just like this Wild West language that I felt was a little forced.
Okay.
Like instead of FER, fur, but it was just like a lot of the way. Yeah, but like a lot of the spelling of the words, like I would have to reread it because I was like, what
are they trying to say?
Yeah, and I was like, just a little too ham-fisted. If they just did a lighter touch on maybe a little more enjoyable, but other than that, it was okay. And then I'm currently reading Acts of Worship by Yukio Mishima. It's a 7-story collection. And I'm on the 3rd story. I'm halfway through the 3rd story. It's about fencing. And so far, it is kind of like that Yukio Mishima collection I let you borrow, where it's just like, they're okay, but, you know, kind of literary. So you're just like,
Right.
But I'm hoping to finish that this weekend, and then I'm going to read on vacation The Long Road by Stephen King, because there's a movie coming out.
Yeah, that looks pretty good.
And what are you reading?
So after we got Confederacy done, so I've been on like the last week or so. I've just been like comics, getting caught up on comics, some trades. I read the 3rd and 4th volume of a series by Mark Millar called The Magic Order. It's been those were pretty good. I read a big collection of early 2000 Venom comics because this one podcast that I listen to, it's like kind of like a book club kind of thing where they just each episode is a different book, title that they talk about.
Yeah.
And that was one of the ones that I've been waiting to watch because I still needed to read it. So I did that. It was okay. It was written by Daniel Wade, who was a big comic book writer like in the early 2000s, and I was always kind of like a fan of his, so that had me interested to read it because I never read it before. But the art in it makes it kind of hard to follow sometimes. It's very cartoony, but like those are okay. I like the Magic Order stuff better. And then like it's just been like last week's and this week's just like new issues of comics that came out and stuff like that. And then once I get caught up here, it's either like I figure either this week or next week I'm gonna get started on a novel. And I feel kind of bad because I just bought it, but I think I might go with the Wii from that Russian guy.
Oh yeah,
I can't reckon his name.
I'll look it up because that was one of the ones I was like, what the fuck is this?
So I might check that out. That might be the next book I check out, or if maybe anything before that, maybe that On the Porch by Richard Chisma that you let me borrow.
Girl on the Porch.
Go on the Porch, because that's
one you can read in a day.
That looks just kind of like a short story, like kind of thing. Not even like a novella, really.
Maybe novella length, since the text is kind of big and the book is small. Yeah, like I said, I read that in a day.
So those would probably be like the two next pro things that I read.
Yeah, We by Yevgeny Zamatin. I picked that out.
Yeah.
And you said, because I said, Spencer will like this. This looks interesting. I didn't realize, because it was on like a table, just like great books or something.
Dystopian books.
I did not realize it was written in like the 30s.
Right.
I thought it was a modern book because the cover and stuff, it looked like a modern book.
Well, I think it's a new adaptation or a new translation. New translation. So,
well, hopefully it's not too dry for you.
Yeah.
I know you like it dry.
Real dry. But do you ever feel bad like about that? Like if you get like a new book and like you end up reading it before the books that you've had in the read pile for like, you feel like that like the other books are judging you, like, hey motherfucker, I've been here for years, like, and you just bought this thing.
I've been trying to go through my to read pile lately, though. Like in the miso soup I just bought, but I've been trying to go through some of the older books, but I don't know. What book should I choose for you to read since I'm reading The Long Walk?
Oh,
I read a Stephen King. You got to read, so it's like 300 something pages. So I got to find something comparable.
Yeah, I suppose.
Oh,
what about if I just read it too?
No, I mean you could read it, but that's no, fucker. I'll think about that off air. Anyway, thank you for listening, folks. You can check out us on the internet. I don't know, at DBW Podcast. We're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube.
On the webs.
On the web. Spencer, his OnlyFans this week. He is the Gatlinburg Grandma Groper. That is.
I don't approve of that.
I think you do. I think you love it. What was the thing? Oh, Wicked Shadow Press, Flash of the Dead Reloaded. Keep an eye out for that. That's what Spencer's going to be in, assuming it's supposed to drop in May.
Yeah, so
probably. I guarantee.
I mean, that might be some. I should probably do some checking too. They might have.
I looked today. I didn't see it.
And so they might have posted something. I just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Also, I am going to be in a PA Bards collection that's supposed to drop this month as well. They sent me the reading date, so that's when the book was available. You could pre-order now, but don't. Just look on my Instagram, and I'll post the poem for free.
Yeah.
Don't pay for. I don't give a fuck if you buy the book. No. You can if you like local poetry, like Pennsylvania. I don't know. You can follow me at calebjfk.com to see the links for that stuff. And that's it. That's it. We'll check next week. We'll probably be back to maybe a normal episode. Depends how I feel. No, next week.
We won't be recording next week.
Next week will be Confederacy at Dunce's. Then we're not going to record, and then the week after that we'll be back to normal.
Yeah.
So we'll be caught up to current progress of sorts.
And I'm sure you probably have some stories to tell from your trip.
Yeah, maybe. They just had an earthquake moments ago. Apparently, 4.1. I guess that's not a big deal. I don't know.
At least it was before you guys got there, not while you guys were there.
I've never been in an earthquake. I kind of look forward one day to having the ground shaking. Like, I don't fucking like this.